A police officer in Loveland will stand trial after shooting a dog in 2019. Wendy Love and John Hamm filed a lawsuit against Officer Matthew Grasshorn. They say he shot their dog after he pulled up to investigate a trespassing complaint. The couple says their dogs trotted toward the officer when he got out of the car. One dog turned around, the other did not. The dog survived but was paralyzed. Love and Hamm decided to euthanize him because they could not afford the surgery. Grasshorn was trying to get the lawsuit tossed. He argued immunity protected him from a lawsuit. Qualified immunity shields government officials from lawsuits unless they violate someone's constitutional rights. Now a jury will decide if Grasshorn violated the couple's rights.
The Houston Police Major Offenders Division has been assigned this case. The shooting happened last week. The dog's owner shared with us some graphic photos, which we have blurred. He says this has been devastating for him. His comfort dog was his best friend.
I got this crazy work dog here.
George Biamonte and his dog went everywhere together.
That right, big work dog. Big work dog.
He called him Big Red Dog, but his full name was Sir Dobie Willow. He was an emotional support animal, says George, and they were close.
I don't have children, so he was my substitute child. I woke up, there he was. He would lean, throw his head over, look at me, I'd tell him good morning. We'd eat together, work together.
So last week when George was picking up supplies at this landscape company on Highway 6, the 2-year-old Doberman was with him. So was his niece. They let the dog out to relieve himself, and the next thing George heard was gunfire.
I hear 2 shots. And the minute I heard the 2 shots, I looked straight up out my door, and through my window, I saw this guy stepping up to my dog and putting 3 more shots right into his head.
The dog was dead.
He murdered it. He straight out murdered it.
George had to haul him away on his trailer.
That was traumatic in itself. I would have never thought in a million years to go in somewhere that I freak one off and that an employee would kill my animal.
ABC 13 spoke over the phone to the operations manager, who said he was sorry that it happened. He said no one knew the dog or that it was a comfort dog, and that the employee was in his truck when the dog, unleashed and barking, charged at him. It was a bad deal all around, he said.
I don't understand that.
George disputes that account. The next day, he went back and found a shell casing and called police.
The first 2 shots, he shot my dog in the leg. Why wasn't that enough? Why wasn't that enough? Why did you have to put 3 more bullets in his head? That was cruel. What he did was animal cruelty in its finest.
George wants someone to be held accountable.
Big cage.
As he gets used to a more quiet house and empty kennel.
He meant a lot to me.
There are still so many unanswered questions in this case. You may remember 19 News interviewed the owners of that yellow lab mix, Dixie, on Monday. They were hurt and outraged, saying their dog had been killed by a Lorain police officer. Lorain police tonight saying they're releasing the body cam video for the sake of transparency, but the questions remain. Why was the officer called to that area in the first place? And is the officer on leave pending this investigation?
On Sunday afternoon, you see a family's pet lab mix playfully wag its tail and run over to a Lorain police officer. The officer points his finger, appearing to shoo it away. Seconds later, a second yellow lab mix named Dixie runs by the same officer. The patrolman quickly appears to pull his gun and opens fire, reportedly shooting at the dog 4 times. We've frozen the video before the shooting started because it's heartbreaking to watch. But it appears after the first shot, the dog ran in the street away from the officer, who continued to fire. The dog's owner outraged as the officer tries to defend his actions.
Why did you do it?
Get back. Okay, your dog charged. Get back.
No, all these people seen that. That dog is harmless.
Audio that may not have kicked in initially or was possibly removed from the first part of the police body cam makes it difficult to know what happened in the moments leading up to the shooting on Oberlin Avenue in Lorain. The owners, Melanie and Tammy Kern, say their dog Dixie was loving and harmless, and they were rounding up their pups that ran outside because they were spooked by the sound of fireworks.
I heard the boom, and all I could remember was the bang, 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 over and over again, hitting my dog as this officer unloaded into her.
Neighbors who witnessed the shooting as upset and angry as the dog's owners as they confronted the officer with their outrage.
Get back! Do not touch! Get back! Get back! Everybody!
Lorain police tell 19 News they released the body cam of the shooting and killing of the dog to be fully transparent, as the officer is investigated by the department's Office of Professional Standards. No word on if the officer is off the job during the investigation, and it's still unclear why the officer was called to the area.
I just want justice for my dog. I want this man off the street. There was no aggression, nothing.
She is one of the most lovable dogs ever possible.
Now, again, that officer is saying that the dog charged him and that he was fearful for his own safety.
PGPD, you coming out or we coming in? Make up your mind.
I don't need a warrant. We got probable cause.
Newly released body camera video shows the Prince George's County officers who got a key from maintenance enter a Landover Hills apartment without a warrant in June of 2021.
Hey, PGPD!
They were responding to a bite complaint against one of the dogs living in the unit.
Hey, she's a broken arm! She has a broken arm!
It quickly turned chaotic inside the apartment. Police shot and critically injured one of the dogs, Hennessy. The owners say she had to be euthanized because of her injuries. The roommates who lived in the apartment appeared together for the announcement of a $16 million federal lawsuit against the Prince George's County Police and 3 officers involved.
I no longer feel safe in the presence of the police officers, and I will never trust them ever again.
Once inside the apartment, there was a physical confrontation. When the dog comes out of a room, you hear her bark, then the shots.
It was a nightmare. I held Henny's body, bloody body, while she was dying in my arms.
Attorneys say this is part of a pattern of excessive force in the Prince George's County Police Department. Through the lawsuit, they're also seeking more training for officers.
There is no reason under this sun that they should have ever been treated the way that the county police treated them.
They point to comments made by the officers as a sign of that culture.
Trust me, I'm 0 to 100, so it's hood rules. You know how it works. That's what happens when you don't answer questions. These children these days, man.
The hostility and the brazenness, just the outrageousness of it all shocks the conscience.
The roommates were detained but were never charged.
City leaders in Desert Hot Springs are responding to a video shared widely on social media groups after a police officer shot and killed a dog.
I can understand some of the emotions that would come into play here. This is an emotional situation. I'm an animal lover myself.
News Channel 3's Miyoshi Price has been asking questions all day. Hey, Miyoshi, what can you tell us about this?
Hi, Karen. As police continue to investigate what happened at the scene, they are not releasing the body camera footage. But after city officials saw the comments on social media, they are now sharing their own video in an effort to provide more context to what happened. A note to you at home, we want to advise you some of the video may be disturbing to many viewers.
We know it's an emotionally charged situation, but we're trying to get through the investigation.
A video posted on social media shows a dog that was killed by a Desert Hot Springs police officer Tuesday. Deputy City Manager Doria Wilms says the viral video caused reaction. She tells us she saw body camera footage with her own eyes, saying the officer backed away twice before protecting himself.
With assumptions that the dog was actually shot while it was nursing its puppies. And so while maybe some in the community didn't know that or believe that, there were unfortunately others that didn't.
The city posted this Facebook response. Their goal? To clear up misinformation.
A full-size pit bull mixed dog escaped from its makeshift enclosure. The dog aggressively ran towards the officer. The officer attempted to back away from the dog, but the dog continued to advance toward the officer in an aggressive manner.
City officials say in the last week and a half, police have been to that location twice, both for dog attacks. While the investigation continues, Wilms urges people to properly secure their pets.
That's the most important way that we can protect our animals is by being responsible pet owners. That's first and foremost.
She says the officer involved has received threatening messages that they are also now investigating.